Terry Bean, Peter, Ian, Geraldine and Delia talk about the future. A lot of Eastern European people who came to Britain after the enlargement of the European Union are going back home and leaving a gap in the lower end of the skills market, which people with learning disabilities could fill. Are people with learning disabilities able to progress in a job?
And now he's thinking about full-time. I said, give yourself, some time to get used to working 5 hours, so you're not too tired, at the end of your shift. Once you get used to that, give you at least a year, I think, then you can go into full-time.
Yeah.
I don't see why he can't.
What is the government doing for the future?
I do know that the government are talking about changing the style of support for disabled or disadvantaged workers, in the fact that they are going to set up workshops for workers that have got no chance of actually finding employment because their disability is that bad that they don't think they can actually hold a long-term employment down. Or they're going to actually have it so that people can actually train them to a certain level. Or you've got officers that will be retrained to actually give the right support and actually look at an individual and say, well, hang on, these are his needs, and go to the employer and say, look, this is what this person can actually do. It's taken a long time for these sort of things to happen, and they should have actually happened years ago.
Are there people who will be left out?
But not all people can work. So maybe some people who may never work. I think some deputies will close, but there will have to be some provision for people with learning disabilities who generally can't work.
What will be the result if there is no provision?
Impact on families, it's a big question. On one hand, it's really important that services don't cut those links and ties, but nor is it right and fair to certainly expect families to take on a huge burden and without the relevant support.
What would employers like to help them employ more people with learning disabilities?
Funding is always helpful because that, if people are taking people into their department and they're only allowed a certain budget, then some support with funding would enable us to, open the doors to more people, I suppose. People on with learning difficulties, they're paid as a colleague. For each department, we have a certain amount of hours that we have to get all the tasks done within that department. And as I was talking about productivity before, certain levels of productivity. And if any colleague is not able to achieve that level of productivity, then it either means that you're not getting the standard that you need, or someone else is having to try to overperform, if you like, to enable everything to be done.
So when you say about support with funding, how do you mean? Funding for the support workers or funding for training? Or?
Well, I would say, support for actually employing the colleagues. With someone like Shore Trust, for instance, Shore Trust will pay the colleagues' wages, and so obviously that's no implication for the store. I'm not saying that needs to be the case, that all of the wages are paid by an external body, but if some of the wages were paid, then it would open the doors